several days of the week where just like no computer and just, offline gaming and sitting out in the garden. I'm looking forward to spring and the summer, and because this virtual insanity is not real, it's just robots. Everything is fake. The question is the monkey real? Am I real? Is this really air you're breathing, chat? Is it? Is it?
Happening on the internet. It could deceive you, and it actually begins with Resident Evil Requiem, though it's not its fault. It's one of the best reviewed games of the year. I've been hooked on it. It's absolutely fantastic. Even the harshest of reviews mostly just wonder if it's a bit uneven. And in the words of one reviewer for Video Gamer, a 9 out of 10 on Metacritic, quote, "If you haven't checked the pre-order bonuses yet, you might want to commit," which is...
What the f***? There were no pre-order bonuses. There were none. I checked, and it's just like, you got nothing. Like, yeah, you got to play the game before everyone else if you pre-order, but dude, come on. It was my day off anyway. It's really an eye-opener. Like, you see all these accounts like Brian Marigold. He's not real. It's just like a made-up thing. And I stumble upon like fake content constantly, especially over on YouTube. So many times the video starts and it's just AI generated, AI commentary, AI scripted, AI everything. And you're just like, why am I even watching this? In a sense, right? Because there's no real thought behind it. There's not a real person who... It's the same with reading these comments or reviews. They're just made up. They're not real.
It's a very odd thing to say.
Real.
Who knows? Maybe the reviewer, Brian Marigold, doesn't have English as a first language. Maybe he was having a bad day and the editors simply just didn't catch it.
Okay.
But the thing is, the whole review is really odd. There's actually not much engagement with, well, the content of Requiem. It almost feels like it's written by someone who just looked at other people's reviews. But here's the thing, that's actually incorrect. It's incorrect because this was not made by a someone. The entity behind it is called Brian Marigold, but the thing is, Brian Marigold is not a real human. All this was...
No. He's not real, dudes. Justin, hello.
Flagged by Andres Aquino, who, by the way, is a real person and did actually review Resident Evil Requiem. He was checking the critical consensus when he found Video Gamer's review. Now, here's the thing. Video Gamer isn't some tiny random site. It's a UK game site that has existed for years, and it's trusted enough to be in Metacritic. But this review is clearly a fake review. It's seemingly just been cobbled together using previews and language model.
An illusion.
And functionally, it is worthless. It doesn't describe the experience of playing the game or anything meaningful to the reader. It's completely hollow, as is the writer, because Brian Marigold is an attempt to fake a writer. He even has a profile, and it's bizarre. It claims he's got a master's degree in English Lit from...
This is fucking scary when you think of it. Like, he's got a profile, he's got everything, he's got a background, he went to university, he even has a master degree. I don't even have a master degree. And here's the person, he's not real, and he pumps out like content and reviews. Has expertise in sports betting, online slot gaming, and then US state gambling laws. So he's even like, wow, that's a lot of titles there. His CV looks like impressive compared to mine. What does it stand on mine? Like a bartender, streamer? Gave up on university.
From the University of Sussex. Brian's even got an X account, though it is blank, and we can see plenty of reviews and articles attributed to him on Video Gamer. Though curiously, there are even more attributed to him that are about online casinos, so gambling. This is all quite weird, but it does make sense when you read his background and you see, quote, an experienced
Dude, wait, did he he's got his own YouTube channel?
Gaming and sports betting analyst. But then you look at Brian Marigold's profile picture, where the file name is ChatGPT image October 20, 2025. Because yeah,
He's just a baby. He's not even 1 year old. He's younger than me. And he's already like a career on like unbelievable. He's already like completed university. He works as a reporter. He does all this stuff. And what the fuck have I done since October 25? Just like what? 5 months? I don't know. Fuck all. We completed Resident Evil. I can give you the review. It's an amazing game. I liked it. We're gonna play it again at one point.
It does actually seem like most of Video Gamer's current staff are fake people. They are Gen AI creations that are faking the operation of a real website, and certainly a website that actually used to be real with real writers. So we now have...
I wonder how much is fake. Like, all the time. Why am I even sitting here? Guys, time to turn off the stream. Shut down the computer. Nothing is real. Are you real? This is fucking scary, man. All these profiles, they're so detailed, right? If you wouldn't know better, you would say these people are real.
Fake writers at a real site who have been given a simulacrum of existence, all in an attempt to get around the most obvious failings of Gen AI writing. Obviously, nobody believes it. Do you know who especially doesn't believe it? Google. If you're truly in the know, you may be thinking about Glorbo right now. You see, back in 2023, we highlighted the coming of Glorbo, a massive spiritual event for the entire world. But in reality, it was a World of Warcraft community's attempt to troll sites like Z-League and The Portal, which are basically all fake, by creating Reddit threads about fake characters and fake events. You see, those sites were SEO farms. They basically just scraped what people were talking about on Reddit. They'd then generate an article and publish the article to drive search traffic, ideally to, apps, advertising, that kind of thing. Back then, it was so pathetically obvious that it was mostly just a joke. But this time around, it is a little bit different, because it's happening with a real...
Am I real? Yeah, it's like the Matrix, right? First time I watched it, stepping out and just, is this real? Do I need to disconnect? And then you find out you're like sitting in front of the PC, and especially like me, who does this for a living, spend a lot of time on PC, scrolling around, and you start to question everything. There's so many bots, and we all know that. I mean, I've seen it on Twitter as well, like time and time again, like scroll past it, like especially like platforms like Twitch and Kick, and I'm certain even YouTube, and every platform has its problems. People buy followers and boost and inflate and tweak the numbers. What was it recently? Like this dude came out and said, basically, if you're not botting, then you're in a disadvantage. And I'm thinking like, yo, but it's not real. Like if you're sitting there and it's not real, what the fuck is the point of it all? And it's the same reading these reviews. Like you sit here and you question everything because this gets counted as a review. Basically, the game thinks, or like it gets counted in the stats, but it's just made up. It doesn't mean anything because it's not real.
Outlet. It's happening with Video Gamer. Real outlets have got fact checks. They have editors. They have reputations. All of these things that make you think, well, they probably won't publish heinous bullshit. And implicit in that is that if they get something wrong, they should fix it because, they want you to come back. Obviously, sites like Z-League and The Portal are things that you've never heard of, don't trust, and, don't really have any history. That means that Google stymies them, right? They don't appear at the top of searches. You see, Google search algorithms are supposed to be favoring actual authored content, so real writers with bylines and an editorial history. And that would mean that a scraper can't just farm whatever the current, talked about game is to get to the top of Google and get a bunch of quick money for exploiting a system rather than providing something of value. But a site with a long legacy absolutely can do that. And that is why this fake review ended up on Metacritic and impacted the score for this game. Now, it's not there anymore, thankfully. Metacritic told Eurogamer that they will never include an AI-generated review, and that if they discover one, the cost is removal and severing ties with the
There must be so many bots and so many fake accounts, like tweaking statistics all the time. Like all the time, not when it just like comes to gaming. I mean, with everything, right? If you think about it, I don't believe that any of these numbers. So that's why I'm convinced just remove all the numbers and I don't know, because these statistics and everything, it's kind of like made up in a sense by someone.
Outlet while they investigate, which is good. And as much as reducing reviews to scores is frustrating for nuance, Metacritic does at least respect the people who do care about the reviews. But it all flags up a kind of spooky truth and a bit of a new world that we're entering here. We are now beyond articles filled with regurgitated or scraped information, like the Glorbo stuff. We're now seeing companies purchase established websites, fire the human staff, and then replace them with Gen AI content, and then hide behind that legacy and hide behind the brand name that they acquired to
and it's sorry, but it's like slowly morphing into like everything. If you think about it, like even job applications, they get reviewed by AI, and it's more likely like that people are like replying back with like chat GPT. So no one reads your emails. It's like it's all automated and everything is like AI response, right? You send an email which you wrote with chat GPT, send it away to the company that reads it through an AI engine, replies back in AI, and then at your end you also have something reading the email. So it's constantly like back and forth communication between an AI engine, and no one is actually reading it and no one is making decisions. It's just, it's out of control. It's like a loop. It's just robots reading and talking to each other. That's what it is.
All of this, even going as far as to create full profiles for these fake writers. It's pretty bad. It's not speculation, and now it's time to talk about the whole corporate story behind it. What I'm going to talk about isn't speculation. It is the account of staff who used to work at Video Gamer, the account of real humans. So, whenever ClickOut acquired the site and took over, they started doing gambling and casino coverage. Loads of the staff left in protest, and it was odd to see a site called Video Gamer that we know for video games have on its little Google thing video game and online like casino news. That just felt odd, but you can kind of see why. I have to imagine that ads and casino content pay out pretty well. Now, one of these writers, Max Nickel, claims that she was supposed to write the Resident Evil 9 review for the site, but then she was laid off alongside most of the other editors and staff back in February. Now, that is when Video Gamer's corporate owner, ClickOut Media, decided to lay off most of their editorial staff, not just at Video Gamer, but also at Esports Insight.
So it's all basically AI reviewed now. It's not like even in companies, people don't work on companies anymore. Everything is ruled by machines. Every decision, everything gets reviewed. Even like YouTube, if you think about it, like algorithm, everything is controlled by AI. They tell you what you're supposed to watch and what you are reacting to, and it's all machines, AI. You have a complaint, you send it to somewhere, like let's say Twitch, right? You send away an email saying, "Oh, I have a problem." AI reads it and spews out this automatic answer, and that's all you get. It's not a person there anymore. It's just a machine telling you, like, yeah, I might not fix it. I don't know. Scary if you think about it. No more people. It's all got replaced. Yes.
And The Escapist. After
And
forcing many
gambling.
of those staff to sign
Lots of
NDAs in order to
with
get their severance,
gambling.
they basically just replaced them with some AI-generated stuff, but not completely
new
AI-gen stuff.
You gotta make money somehow, right? And so it's like gambling money and then farming like cryptocurrency and all that stuff is what probably spewing around in the background. Yeah. Also ruled by AI engines and machines and server hubs. And yeah, we're slowly converting into like the AI era where yeah, everything gets ruled by machines. And the internet, it's not real. The people got tired. They are stepping outside. At least I do. Several days of the week where just like no computer and just, you know, offline gaming and sitting out in the garden. I'm looking forward to spring and the summer, and because this virtual insanity is not real. It's just robots, AI communicating with each other.
It's stuff that they were already doing to pump out loads of casino recommendations. Yeah, this is really weird, isn't it? And the only way they could expect their casino articles to do well is, of course, the legacy of these sites. And that means that, say, videogamer.com can actually pull off this Gen AI bullshit business model in a way that some random site that somebody just started up yesterday to do a grift, well, fundamentally couldn't. But the levels of banditry actually do go deeper. So this
is so refreshing, fresh air. I mean, I live in the countryside, so the air here. And when it's fresh and you hear like birds singing, it's different. It's different in the real world, right? And the problems are different too. My neighbors are different. They have different struggles. It's not like this internet ludicrousy where everyone gets offended and screaming and yelling insults at each other. It's way more calm. Yeah. What propaganda are we watching? Well, it's not propaganda. This is reality. The internet is getting infested by automatic AI machines, and they run everything: reviews, answers, replies, boost likes, follows, views.
Niche website here is Adventure Gamers. It's operated since 1998 and it was bought out last year. Now, its forum archives have got more than two decades
many of these websites
niche
as well,
information from people passionate about those games that have all now been wiped because the site has refocused to being about online slots and casinos, which is exactly what you would expect if you went to adventuregamer.com. And what we see is that company after company, the pattern is the same. Buy a legacy site, fire all the staff, and puppet the corpse. And ClickOut are not the only group doing this. There are companies like Valnat who buy up sites, fire everyone, and then retain an endless...
I mean, I've been to casinos and you know, bars, like even work like as a blackjack, like jumping in for the friend at work from time to time, sitting in and yeah. And I get that you can count cards, but slot machines, I know nothing about like gambling, and it's not for me.
Tide of new writers paying them absolute peanuts to just churn out content. It's one of the reasons why the quality of written content across loads of websites has just kind of decreased over time. And I'm hesitant to blame those writers because the same thing that limits, say, the Portal and, you know, Glorbo and all of that from exploiting SEO is actually what pressures all of the humans into working in a very SEO-friendly way. They essentially have to now. That's why you see guides across so many sites, as one little example. So what we're seeing is very little traction on high-effort, like unique, original reporting, and basically just the press and formalized, structured outlets with meaningful backing kind of being pressured like never before on so many different fronts. And we have an example of that from the very same week the Resi 9 review was published. VGC revealed that Ziff Davis was laying off most of the editorial staff at Eurogamer and at the YouTube outlet Outside Xbox. And of course, this was not the first round. All of these sites were acquired in 2024 when the previous owner, ReadPop, just wanted out of the media business. And, well, these sites have just been cut and cut and cut since. It's a good thing the Digital Foundry just got out and got to be independent, holy shit. Now, the people who have been gutted by all of this, well, some of them are trying to fight back. We've got outlets like VGC and Aftermath that have sprung up as kind of independent, user-funded alternatives, some being free of advertising and all the SEO mandates that would otherwise just have them pumping out guides until they literally die. Now, Aftermath, in the days after this news broke, they published a year's worth of long-form investigative reporting on the sheer scale of what ClickOut has done. They have interviews with former staff. They have loads of evidence. Now, that is the kind of reporting that's valuable, but that's hard to publish anywhere else, because it isn't guaranteed clicks. In a world where article content is primarily distributed via the likes of like Google search algorithm, you just can't really get traction and stuff like that. But the thing is, these independent outlets don't have the scale or the structural backing of the institutions that they came from. And of course, if the writers who powered a lot of these institutions are gone, then, well, we've got shells that just get left behind for the likes of ClickOut to acquire and then crawl their way into and puppet around, in many cases, by just pumping out loads of AI bullshit and trying to obfuscate it by making up fake writers with fake degrees from universities that they never went to. It's
and how scary is that? Like, because it would take real reporters and critics a lot of effort to first play the game, then review it, and you know, find the words, put it all together. And if you could just like spew out 1,000 articles made with ChatGPT, give even the journalists, which are fake, real profiles, and you just like infest the whole algorithm by spewing out gazillions of this stuff, right? Makes you think. And of course, this overshadows real critics and small independent game reviewers. And not only in gaming, I mean, this happens with everything, right? With everything.
Absolute peak banditry that is preying on all of the systems that are
Everyone
causing
gets laid off and replaced by AI, and messages just gets created via ChatGPT. I mean, people don't even know how to read anymore or reply something by themselves. They can't even think by themselves. They need to ask ChatGPT how to answer questions, how to put sentences together. And it's unfortunately a reality. Like even Twitter, I've seen this so much. A lot of people don't bother to read longer tweets and just like, ask Grok to summarize and basically just give him the short narrative of it. And I'm thinking like, yeah, sure, but this also makes you super lazy. You don't really take in all the information. You don't know everything, and you're asking someone else, which in this case is AI, and it's not even real, to think for you. And that's what's so fucking scary, because people got so lazy and want to shorten the amount of time it takes to understand something or write something decent or do anything, right? They don't really use it as a tool, as an extension, but they rather like let it take full control and basically read it for you, understand it for you, and then give the answer as well. It's ridiculous. Long-term destruction, attention spans, reading comprehension is a thing. Yeah. And it's a lot like how people are brainwashed and manipulated on in front of the PC, right? Because people don't actually read stuff. They let everything get summarized. People can watch longer content anymore. It needs to be shortened down to 5-6 seconds for people to understand. And even movies that are longer constantly remind you of the plot because they know that people are already forgotten. It's like we are goldfish swimming around in a bowl and can't think longer than 5 seconds. And if we have to think longer, understand bigger sentences, we ask AI to summarize it for us. That's insane.
The issues we've got with online published content, but most importantly, it's preying on you. Resident Evil Requiem is the kind of game.
Of course, it's okay to do stuff with AI. It is like you can do awesome stuff. Like let's say the music video I did, right? I generated images, which I still had to come up with some kind of storyboard or a prompt script, right? In order to get like certain pictures that would fit a story and put together. So I was still being creative and just use that as a tool rather than, you know, drawing every single image myself, which would have taken months and a lot of time, probably years. Well, who am I kidding? Decades. And music, I would have had to ask like friends, musicians to play certain instruments because I can't play them all, right? Or you use a different computer program to play all these instruments. So you use it more as a tool, but I still had to put everything together. I still had to put in an effort in creating this somehow, but differently.
That is perfect for this type of fake review, because it's a highly previewed game. There's a whole series worth of writing to steal from, and the likelihood that someone would have a good experience with the game regardless of the review, because the game's bloody brilliant. Now, if it hadn't have been, then someone might have bought the game and wasted their time on something they really shouldn't have, because they believed a review that looked like a real review but actually was fake.
But what do I know? I'm just
basically
a monkey.
Because they put their trust in someone who doesn't exist. And, you know, they were tricked because it was made to look like it was done by someone who exists. And the worry is that the more of these fakes happen, the more the informational space just gets polluted and polluted and polluted. That is bad for truth. I guess what it all comes down to here is trust, and how everything is leading to a future where trust is just going to be in short supply. When you read or watch a review, you are taking someone else's opinion and considering it for how you plan to spend your valuable time and often your valuable money. The review represents someone trying to communicate their experience with you, even if you disagree with them. You trust that they're earnestly trying to do that, but Brian Marigold cannot communicate with you, because Brian Marigold doesn't exist. It's a pilot-generated text designed only...
My God. Brian Marigold, an experienced iGaming and sport betting analyst. The fuck? Not even real. Insight and genuine enthusiasm in interactive entertainment. Wow. What a dude. That's why I do multiple searches and check. Yeah. That's why I question everything, right? I'm very, I don't know. Someone says something and you don't necessarily go like jump on the bandwagon immediately and go like, yeah, whatever. This is probably made up bullshit altogether. Everything. It's not real. Just like Brian here.
Only to manipulate online systems and get your attention. You cannot trust it. It is literally designed.
Phantom sounds like a ground news ad. Gotta cross-check the facts. Gotta check all the platforms. Gotta get like all the opinions, right? Dude, yes. I don't trust the game journals as far as I could throw them. Dude, it's also just a bunch of morons writing these reviews, like the real ones, not the bots, but the real critics. They're not really gamers. They don't understand. They're just like these, I don't know. Critics are weird. It's the same with movie critics. Like, what the fuck? What do you know? They don't know nothing. Usually they're like over-the-top people. And now we're making even fake versions of them with AI as if we didn't have enough shitty critics. Now we're generating more. This is horrible. Chat, it'd be like we're cloning the terrible, awful critics, and there's a whole army of them, and they're like fake fucks.
To deceive you and make money off you.
Terrible.
This is bad. This is not something that can continue. And if you're looking for something or someone to blame, I would say it's the likes of Valnet and the likes of Clickout. They are just bandits. For years and years, they've been doing their banditry, and now that they have access to new tools, they have new ways to practice banditry. Fuck them, and I'll see you in the next video.
Nothing's real, chat. Nothing. Is this real? No, but seriously, like, if you think about it, it's not only like gaming, right? This is literally everywhere. Everything is just, I don't know, AI generated. I'm probably spamming fake reviews.